You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, Charge and Hayner at Zoom the TBT, and we have the honor today of talking to TBT legendary coach Charlie Parker of Sideline Cancer. Charlie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Thanks for coming on this holiday weekend. We're taking this a little bit early because we're trying to throw this into the main show. So thanks for coming on. So obviously, Sideline Cancer has become a brand in this tournament. Obviously, a high quality squad that really wins a lot of games. And you guys have, as usual, started to load up and get some quality players. You've added Tyrese Rice, a former MVP of the event. Dominique Jones, formerly of Florida TNT, a really high quality wing. And then also you have German added too, a really quality guard. So can you tell me what these additions offer to you from a standpoint of running your offense?
Well, for the last few years, we've been kind of running a lot of pace and space. You know, we believe in dribble penetration, getting to the basket and, you know, creating open shots for other players. You know, and I think that the biggest thing that the additions add to what we're trying to do is really taking some of the onus off of Marcus Keene. You know, what we've seen over the past couple of years is Keene is obviously somebody that can control the pace of the game. He can score with the best of them, and he can kind of carry us on his back. You know, but we've also struggled when he's not been in the game and, you know, trying to play him, you know, 33 minutes or so for 6 games is just not going to be a good recipe for trying to win the tournament. And it's also not good for him in his career either, you know, as far as like, you know, this being right before going back overseas. So what we've tried to do is try to give ourselves other elite ball handlers and playmakers, you know, at the guard spot and at the wing spot that can help, you know, hopefully carry us to a championship.
And it's funny you mentioned going to a championship because you guys have gone deep before. You made the finals in the bubble. You've made multiple second, third rounds. Last year, slightly disappointing going out a little bit early, but it was to the host team and zip them up. So it wasn't like you guys were playing a soft team. What has to break right for Sideline Cancer to break through and win their first chip this year?
I think it really just boils down to chemistry. You know, that's something that we're going to, you know, really try and improve upon from last year. Obviously, it's not easy not being an alumni team. You know, not all the alumni teams are fully, you know, guys that play together. But when you have that camaraderie and that having played together before, I think it's a little bit of an advantage for us. We don't have that being a brand like Sideline Cancer. You know, we're bringing guys in, you know, and trying to compete for something bigger than basketball. So I think that, you know, it's my job to try and build that, you know, as soon as we start training camp and try and get our guys, you know, to buy into what we're doing and also playing together. But I think chemistry and playing well and hard on the defensive end is what wins TBT.
Definitely. I think that's a pretty fair assessment of what it takes to win this event. And you would know you've won plenty of games in this event. For our money, Charge and I discussed the brackets, and 2 brackets stand out as being kind of the ones that are real messes, which is Louisville, really deep at the top, and the West Virginia regional. Not really any soft touches there. It goes 7 deep, and really the 8th team, Dubois team's totally fine too. So it's a true 8-team deep. They gave you possibly the strongest 7 seed there is, a Ram Nation team that's made numerous regional finals as hosts before. It's a dangerous, fast-paced squad with a lot of talent. And then if you're able to get that, the reward is probably playing the combined forces of ALS TNT, which sounds like a match made in hell. Yeah. So exactly how hard do you see this road in West Virginia?
I mean, we definitely see it as a hard road. You know, we've kind of done both where we've been to regions that were, you know, deep, you know, from the beginning. And we've also went places where we've tried to pick where we're going to, you know, make it a little bit easier of a road to at least the Elite 8. You know, once you get there, there's nothing you can really do as far as ducking competition. I do think that, you know, it'll be good for us, you know, one way or the other is kind of like, hey, we'll be battle tested if we make it through there. Definitely have a lot of respect for VCU, you know, with Florida TNT, you know, you just mentioned how many deep runs they've made. And now, you know, combining with Challenge ALS, you know, they've always had talent. You know, so the 2 of them together is definitely going to be a formidable opponent. And then potentially playing the host again, you know, to something that you can't really get out of. But, you know, I do think that all 3 opponents that we could potentially face are, you know, Final 4 or Elite 8 type of teams, at least from a talent standpoint. And, you know, we'll have to give them our best shot. And like I said, if we're lucky enough to get out of there, I know that we'll be battle tested.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because like I don't know a harder road of an elite team, because you guys are in the top, 10 teams in this event probably, and having to go through VCU alum and then possibly potentially TNT, and then a true road game no matter who comes out, because unless it's Dubois, because you've got West Virginia, you've got Hurd, who are both from the state, and then Pitt's an hour away. So you're gonna be the road team pretty much no matter what in the final if you're lucky enough to get there. So it's a pretty difficult road. But enough about the basketball. You guys are playing for a cause. Briefly, can you explain to people who might be new to the event what Sideline Cancer is about?
Yeah, I mean, and if you don't mind, I'll give you a little update on like kind of how things have changed, like what Sideline Cancer has been about really is just, creating awareness. It started out as creating awareness around pancreatic cancer, which is the second leading cause of death in all cancers. It's the one that, when you get it, a lot of times when people get diagnosed, they don't have that much longer to live when you find out that you do have it. So that's kind of what our fight has been about, is creating awareness around that. Up until the 2020 bubble, Sideline Cancer had donated well over $300,000 to pancreatic cancer research. The pandemic kind of changed things as far as like not being able to, for at least 1 year, we weren't able to host like major events where a whole bunch of people would be there. And they used to have this gala or dinner that they would have every year that would raise money for research. They decided to kind of shift gears and get into helping patients like directly ourselves. And then once things did kind of come back as far as the pandemic and like youth sports, right after the bubble, I actually started an AAU program, to help, continue this fight or like raise more awareness. We had one team in 2021. In 2022, we had grown to 18 teams. And this year we had 38 AAU teams representing Sideline Cancer across the state of Pennsylvania. With that, a good handful of our athletes that represent our AAU program, we're also in their high schools now hosting Sideline Cancer games. So that's kind of been the biggest shift, is now we're actually hosting high school events. At these high school events, we're selling t-shirts, and a large portion of the t-shirt sales actually going directly to somebody that's battling cancer in that community. So what we're doing is we're, giving cancer patients, $1,500 or $2,000 at these games to help them with their medical bills and their family situations.
That's a really useful thing. So it takes all kinds of charity. It takes direct charity to people who are afflicted personally, and also the research level. So it's nice to see you're attacking it in a two-pronged approach. It's actually cool to be able to attack it both locally and globally.
Yes.
Well, Coach Parker, I really appreciate your time today. Can't wait to see you guys go. As you know, me and Charger, at least I should be in West Virginia, so hopefully I'll buy you a coffee or a beer, your choice, over there. This has been good. Coach Charlie Parker of Sideline Cancer visiting. Thank you so much, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hainer. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.